Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and X-Men Red, issue number 9. Alright, there's some good and some bad with this, but I think the good outweighs the bad. Also, a little bit of a movie reference in this one. Okay, so, X-Men 9, X-Men Red number 9. 9 members of this team. Of course, Namor is off killing Stingray and hanging out with the guy who killed one of his parents, but hey, it's good, it's good. That's not in this comic book. He's just absent from this comic book. That's the way it's all explained. So, Tom Taylor is the writer for The Hate Machine, Part 9, Gray versus Gray. Gonna butcher this name, but I'm gonna try. Rogue Antonio is the artist. Sorry, please correct me. Rain Barretto is the color artist, and VC Squared Petite is the letterer. Jenny Frison, I believe that's how you pronounce her name, is the main cover artist, and Max Lim does the Battle Lines variant cover. X-Men were created by Stan Lee and Jack freaking Kirby. Okay, so this is basically Jean Grey, the issue where she's going to try and rescue Rachel Grey. And she does. She does. And it's one of the coolest rescues you could imagine. Now, the final battle was interesting, and I got such a Last Jedi vibe off of this. It was almost painful to watch, but it was an afterthought that it was Last Jedi, because I think that this was handled better than The Last Jedi. You know the scene I'm talking about, all right? You know the scene I'm talking about. If I had to make one complaint about the movie, it would be that scene could have been a little bit better. Just a little bit. It was a little bit better in this. So there's the comparison, but not the hate. Not the hate at all. So I like the idea that this comic book really, it's almost like it had the checklist of all the things to make it a cool X-Men comic book. It showed Jean Grey to be ridiculously freaking powerful. She was able to go toe-to-toe, for lack of, better, what would it be? Not cognitive terminology. For crying out loud. She wasn't actually physically there, but incorporeal. That's what I'm looking for. The lack of the incorporeal toe-to-toe, it still, mentally, yes, she was toe-to-toe. And it was cool. I dug that. I like the way that Rachel Grey was finally able to escape from that. I love that right hook that she did. Oh, that was just awesome. Was it a right hook? Actually, I think it was a left. You know what? Read the comic book. Go and check it out. Maybe I'll find it before I cancel all of this. No, probably not, because I see the scene where Jean Grey's killed. No, it's a left. It's a left cross. Anyway, I may have mentioned that Jean Grey was killed in this comic book. Last Jedi. I've spoken. Again, checklist stuff. There's some really good scenes in here. Like, there was the social political commentary, while at the same time completely presented as, no, we're just talking about mutants. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Mind you, most of us who are going to be reading this comic book are a lot older now. So if you guys were actually reading the comic books, the X-Men comic books, as they were coming out in the 90s, you might sit there and say, oh no, the X-Men comic books weren't like that. Stop remembering and go back and actually read the comic book. Seriously, just sit down, open up your comic books, and start reading through, I'd say, any arc, any 10 issues, okay? Just something like that. I bet you see all of the social political commentary right there. Of course, you still have to remember what the political environment was like during that time. But yes, the Chris Claremont 100% did the exact same thing and disguised it as, no, we're just talking about mutants. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So this was perfectly fine. And it was literally just a quick little boop, one panel. Okay, we're done. So again, checklist. And that, I figure, it helps and hurts the comic book, because when you only do it in one panel, it's glaring. It's something where it's like, oh, and here's the PDA of the day. Here's the public PSA, the public service announcement of the day. If it were a theme, and over the course of, let's say, 2 pages, not quite so noticeable, right? So that's one of the things that I look at. I personally, again, I don't care, and I agree with the social political commentary that's in this comic book, so it doesn't affect me at all. If you disagree, that's where it might get a little bit, hey man, what's going on? Why does your stuff have to be in my comic books? You're reading the wrong comic book. How about that? why you hate reading a comic book? But there was, so good and bad, good and bad. There was a scene where basically Jean Grey in the beginning is walking a gauntlet where she's got a self what's the term that I was thinking of earlier when I was actually reading the comic book. It's not self-objectification, but more like she was validating herself. There we go. To half of the members of the X-Men. And that was a little weird. But the best was saved till last because the thing with Honey Badger. And I know Tom Taylor, I think that he created Honey Badger, but he definitely made Honey Badger like a household name in the all-new Wolverine comic book that he wrote. I still haven't gotten around to reading it yet. I need to get around to reading that one of these days. I just need a really slow comic book week in order to start that. Plus, I have to finish Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, and there's a couple others that people are saying, you gotta read this stuff, including Red Hood and the Outlaws, but that's not the point, okay? The point that I'm trying to make is, that was weird until it got there, and I'm like, oh, wow. So, like, she's trying to validate herself, and Honey Badger accidentally validates herself. Cool, I'm down with it. Every scene in here with Honey Badger, I think that's got to be Tom Taylor's strong point, and I think he also knows that. He knows that, so he keeps on throwing in, he peppers the comic book throughout with little bits of Honey Badger in it. Her commentary that, I think that this is my life's calling, is looking for mutants playing with kittens and puppies on the internet. That was freaking hysterical. Not hysterical, but I looked at that, I'm just like, that's great. That's really cute, And it's more endearing. It makes me more endearing towards the Honey Badger character. And then we go right back to more action, where he's trying to present Jean Grey as the main character in here. It works. In fact, it works really well. And I think that if I wasn't so into the writing of different comic books, that, if I didn't study psychology in the past, if I didn't have such a, I wouldn't say affinity for it, that's kind of big-headed, but more of a, proclivity to interest in psychiatry. Let's just put it that way, all right? Like a step away from a full-blown interest in it. I don't think I would have really unpacked this comic book quite as much. I could have just read it as it was. Now, the problem is I don't know how I would have read it if I didn't have that interest in psychology. So, I might not have liked it at all in that case. So this was a very interesting read. The way that both Honey Badger and Laura, X-23, she's X-23 again, were able to kind of have a conversation with Trinary and Kezo? Crap, I can't remember his name right now. But Gentle. That was actually really cute. That was about as cute as could be. Laura, could you please snick to these two? Because it's really, I'm not supposed to feel any pain, but oh my God, this hurts so bad. That was probably the cutest moment in the entire comic book. In fact, of any 50 comic books that you're going to randomly pick up, say that was a very cute moment. I loved that. I heard that this comic book's going to end pretty soon. Damn shame, but it's fun while it's lasting. I am enjoying this. I really do like seeing Jean Grey being OP. I feel that she should be overpowered not necessarily from the start, but that's who she is, even without the Phoenix Force. The Phoenix Force isn't what makes her. We've already established that the Phoenix came to her because it loved how powerful she was to begin with. So the human vessel, in my headcanon, the human vessel, the mind specifically, is not going to break under her. She won't have to find another vessel anytime soon. That's why she loved her so much. So I like that she is ridiculously powerful in here. I'd like to see her mentally backhand Emma Frost at least one time in this comic book before it ends, Really good stuff. I'm definitely enjoying this. Yeah, and the ending was perfectly fine, and it's cool, the idea that we might see the entirety here. I'm just going to give you the cover of the next issue. Awesome, very awesome. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the team, I guess, go after Cassandra Nova. I think that Psylocke, I'm used to Psylocke putting up Psy shields, so I guess that I'm imagining that Jean Grey's going to have to put up her Psy shields for the entire team, as most of her power most of her contribution to the team in that case, because yeah, Cassandra Nova is no joke. Anyway, awesome comic book. I dug it. Yeah, really sad that this is gonna go. Anybody know what issue this is gonna end at? I don't feel like looking it up. All right, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, class dismissed.